All right, we're going to continue with our media availabilities here at Michigan International Speedway in advance of Sunday's Pure Michigan 400. We are now joined by Kasey Kahne, the driver of the number 5 Liftmaster Chevrolet. We will just open it up to questions. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. State your name and affiliation. Up here to Bob, and then we'll go to Wolfgang.
Hey, Bob.
Can we get a microphone up here to Bob, please?
Bob Hocker, ESPN. How do you feel kind of the dynamic and vibe was within the team today?
Well, I think it was kind of interesting. The vibe was good. You know, the team was good. Just pretty similar to always. It's the first time I had seen my guys since the news, and you know, a lot of them weren't at the shop on Monday, so they were told by guys at the shop guys that were at the shop. And I was gone, you know, at Knoxville this week, so I talked to a couple over text or Snapchat, phone call, something like that. But that was really about it. And so today it was cool. Everybody seemed good, and we just kind of went to work like always, and hope to put together a really strong weekend.
We'll go to Wolfgang.
Kasey, earlier today, Kyle Larson was here, and he is going to Knoxville to race up there. I know you have a sprint car team. Are you driving yourself from time to time? Or you have some more involvement now in your team with decision doing?
No, pretty similar to how it's been the last few years. We, you know, I race when I can, which isn't not a lot, but when I can, I still enjoy racing on the dirt. And you know, this weekend it's all about our teams. Brad Sweet and Darren Pittman. They're pretty much, you know, they're starting 3rd and 7th on Saturday night in the Knoxville Nationals. So we have 2, you know, good cars and good opportunities to try to get a Nationals win. And yeah, I just support those guys. I love that type of racing and being a part of it, being an owner, trying to give them, you know, opportunity to go out and win the biggest sprint car race that there is.
We'll come over here to Claire and then go to Jerry.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Kasey, talk about your future and kind of what you want to do, where you think you should go, what kind of conversations you're having, and how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, you know, I started basically, you know, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, Monday, talked to some different owners, you know, personnel, different teams, and just trying to show that, you know, I really want to still be in the Cup Series. I want to race here, and you know, if there's any opportunity, I'd love to talk about it, you know, something like that. So that's been really good. You know, everybody's nice and talked about their programs, and was really cool to have those conversations. Also, Mr. Hendrick has been really supportive and making sure that, you know, he wants me in a car as well. You know, it didn't work out in the 5, but he wants me in another car, and he wants me to be out there, you know, racing next year. So, you know, between all that, I really think I'll be able to come up with something that'll be very competitive and, you know, be able to be in the Cup Series for, you know, a while to come.
Mr. Hendrick, Rick Hendrick talked about a liaison team possibility. Are you kind of banking your hopes on that? Are there many opportunities out there? Or are you thinking maybe there'll be a liaison job that he'll help you get into?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know that there's not a ton of opportunity, you know, and there's some really good drivers that don't have a deal done at this time that will probably end up in cars, I would think. So, like, I just feel like the opportunities are pretty slim, but I've always, you know, tried to be really respectful, and when I've had the opportunity to go fast and win, we've been able to win some races. I would always like to win more, but we have, you know, have some wins, and have done a good job with the people in the garage and our partners over the years. So I really think that I can come up with something good, and come up with something that would be fun to be a part of, and also try to work hard to make that team better than it's ever been, and that's, you know, and myself better than I've been. So I still have that mindset, and I really hope that, you know, something works out to where I can be in a strong car next year and enjoy, you know, racing in the series, because I've actually enjoyed it for so long, you know, and I've lived so many of the highs of the you know, the Cup Series. You know, I watched Jimmy Johnson win 5 championships. I've won 18 races myself, and, you know, we had 6 wins in 1 year. Watched Dale Jr. win some different races, but when he won Bristol in the 8 car was something that like I'll never forget because of the 170,000 fans that you thought were gonna like come to the infield with him. So it was, I think I've lived a great part of the sport, been part of all that, and I don't want to be done yet.
We'll go to Jerry and then Chris.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net and PRN. In all of this, you still have to prepare for the playoffs and the rest of the season. Can you talk about how that is going through your mind and how you're working to obviously further yourself into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing there is just working with my team and having my team behind me. Me being behind them and what they do, how hard they work to prepare the best car and put it on track each week, and just trying to find a little bit of speed that we need if we were ever to want to win a championship and to want to advance through those rounds. I think we all know the 78 and the 18 have been really the cars to beat the last month. The 42 was right before that was really strong, and we've all just been a little bit off of that. So we're working hard to get to where we want to be. The only way I'm going to get there is the people, and being part of that. And I feel like that's been one thing at Hendrick Motorsports that had one of the coolest things there has been working with my teammates, the other crew chiefs, Knaus, Alan, and Greg. Like those guys, I just feel like I've had a really good relationship with that whole group on both sides, and so I think we have to keep that going all the way till the end of the season and just try to get the best results we possibly can. But it all is just people and how we work together. And if we do what I know that we can do, I think we can, really perform and do a lot more than what we've done so far this season.
We'll go to Chris and then Christina.
Chris Knight, CatchFans.com. Kasey, we've seen drivers like Matt Kenseth and Kevin Harvick, and even Kevin Harvick, Kenseth, and those guys make changes and they go to different teams and kind of get a fresh start. Do you feel like that if you had that opportunity, if it presented itself, that you could have a fresh start? And Martin Truex was I thinking of the other guy, went from Michael Waltrip to Furniture Row and built that team. Do you feel like if you got a fresh start that it could help you rejuvenate your career?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope so. I think it's all about people again. If you can get the people behind you and believe in you, and then I believe in them, and we work together for the same goal, and that's to win races. It's a competitive series. It's a super tough series to win in. So many things have to go right for the entire week, the entire race weekend, and then throughout the race. And it's not easy by no means, but once guys figure out how to do it, they can get on that roll. They figure out the speed in their car, what the driver's looking for, and can give them that feel each week. They figure out how to win more than the rest of us. So it can definitely be done. I've been part of that side of things in the past, and hopefully we can be part of that again if we get in the right situation.
I don't know if you saw or heard the transcript from the press conference this week with Rick Hendrick and Byron, but Rick said during the press conference that he took responsibility for the 5 car not running up to its standards, and he didn't feel like that everything came together. Does that mean something when he says that he took responsibility for that team not doing what he thought it should have?
Well, I think a lot of what he said this week means a lot to me, because to have somebody like Rick Hendrick, Mr. Hendrick, to be on your side, even though I'm not going to be part of his team anymore, to be on your side and the power that he has in this sport and what he's done for NASCAR, for this sport, for so many drivers and employees over the years, to have him behind you is a really good thing. So, like, I respect that. I respect him a ton, and I hope that we can build something out of that. But I also have kind of been working in my own direction as well on certain things to make sure that just check out everything that's that's out there for sure. I don't want to miss anything, but Mr. H has been really good about where we're at, and I think we're going to come up with something that should work out pretty well.
We'll go to Christina and then Wolfgang.
Christina Bowman, the podiumfinish.net. Speaking more towards this race weekend, June of 2014 was your last top 10 here, and I'm wondering what has been the struggle over the last few years, and do you think you've kind of stepped in the right direction correcting that, and how do you feel about your car this weekend?
Yeah, I think, really the last few races here, since then, the final restart has put me from like 7th or 8th to 15th, 13th to 15th, I would say, in some of those races. So we could have ran top 10 in a couple of the races since 14, but to actually run in the top 5, we haven't had that kind of speed at all. So we're trying to work on those things. Obviously, the restart's up to me. You know, there's a line that you're put in, and then where you go from there is up to the driver. So you have to make things happen in the first and second corner. But as far as the speed of the car, that's something that I think we've made some gains in since Indianapolis. I thought Indy, we unloaded second. I thought we were really competitive. And Pocono, I felt we had a 3rd to 5th place car. It didn't work out at the end the way things went, but our speed was 3rd to 5th place. And then, so we're just learning, working from there. And also what we had the first Michigan race, which we were 8th place car and finished like 14th. So hopefully we can get in the top 10. That'd be a nice weekend, but yeah, I want to be in the top 5, and I want to see if we can have the speed to really just, battle for a win again at Michigan. That would feel pretty good. But as of today, I thought we were a little bit off getting into the corner. My car was like moving around left to right a lot, pulling on the left front and losing right rear grip. So just a small balance thing there that we'll work on tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a lot closer.
Kasey, for 218, you're just looking for a drive in NASCAR or outside the NASCAR world, for example, in endurance racing?
Just Cup Series. Yeah, really just Monster Energy Cup Series, and as far as NASCAR goes, yeah.
We'll go to Robbie.
Robbie Mays, MRN. Kasey, next week we go to Bristol. You won the spring race up there a few years ago. Talk about the difference between racing at Bristol in the daytime as opposed to racing there at the nighttime.
Yeah, they're both great races, but over the years, the track to me just gotten faster. With the grip that they put on the top, and now we're putting grip on the bottom, so it's as fast as it's ever been, I think. And throughout an entire run, the cars don't fall off like they used to. Probably some of your faster laps are later in the run than they are even at the start sometimes. So just trying to battle through those things, be able to pass cars, and be in the right position like any other track. But yeah, Bristol's it's a good track to go to. Track position means a lot, and then on the longer runs you can make moves, it seems like. But yeah, I think the night race to me, in the past especially, there's so much like the vibe and the excitement of it, is so good. And so it's neat to be part of that race and try to get a night win. We won during the day, and that was really cool. I think I won at night and maybe Xfinity, but yeah, it's a neat place to race. Just a small track, everybody's close together, and top or bottom, wherever your car works the best, or if there's cars in front of you, go somewhere else. But yeah, it's challenging for sure to try to get the speed and keep it throughout a whole run.
Do we have any final questions for Kasey? All right, Kasey, thanks for joining us. Good luck on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we are going to continue with our media availabilities here at Michigan International Speedway. In advance of Sunday's Pure Michigan 400, we are joined by Dale Earnhardt Jr., driver of the number 88 Axalta Chevrolet. Dale, you've had some success here at Michigan, and you're here with the Junior Nation Appreciation Tour. What does it mean to bring that here to a track where you've had a couple of wins?
It's been fun all year, trying to find creative ways to show the fans, I guess, how much they mean to us and to the sport and to the career. Certainly, it's important to me, and I think important for our team back home that put this together, that the fans get to understand and enjoy this. I wish I could run better on the track, and I know that would make things a lot easier to enjoy. And we still got a few races, and hopefully something can get going. We got to find some speed, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate all the tracks working with us and helping us promote this. Hammerhead and our media arm at Dirty Mo Radio and all that for all the content that we've been able to put together and sort of share with the fans, a little bit about each track and what each track means to us. So it's been pretty interesting, and hopefully the fans are enjoying that.
All right, we'll open up to questions here for Dale. Please raise your hand. We'll start here with Claire, and then we'll go over to the side.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Can you explain why you think Kevin Harvick would say what he said about you on his radio show? And are you now getting the idea via what you're hearing that potentially there was some flack over your comments about driver salaries? And do you think that was misunderstood?
My
your comments? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's easy to take it any way, you know, a number of ways. It could have been taken differently. I think it definitely probably upset some of the veteran guys, but I said on my podcast that if you got a healthy program with great corporate sponsorship and great manufacturing support, then you should be able to, control your worth and be able to get the kind of deal you want. Just the environment for some of these teams has become a lot more challenging over the last couple of years. But I think that's kind of, that might be where some of his frustration comes from, and why, why he decided to make the comments he made. I'm not real sure. I can't speak for Kevin.
We'll go to Wolfgang and then to Bob.
Dale, hopefully not a private question for you. Next year when you're not driving anymore, I know you were already in Germany 2 years ago. Maybe we will see you more often over there. And when you were traveling, can you pick up already some German words when you were in Germany?
So, well, the last time I was over there, I was suffering from a lot of symptoms from my concussion and didn't really know it. Didn't know what was going on. But so the last trip I didn't enjoy too much. But I think it'd give me and Amy the opportunity to do a lot of things next year. Obviously, I think everybody's been asking me, like, you're going to have all this free time. I don't think I'm going to have that much, to be honest with you. And I think some of you guys know, this the opportunity that I have next year to work with NBC is going to take a lot of preparation. And I'm definitely going to push real hard to make sure that I'm doing everything I can do to be prepared and understand. I'm more confident in doing anything when I feel like I have done everything I can to prepare for that. And so for me to go in there and feel like I can do the job I want to do and do it well, I need to really over-prepare and work hard and feel like I haven't left anything on the table. So I think that I guess what I'm trying to say is it'll be pretty busy, I think, in that first 6 months, sort of getting up to speed and taking every opportunity I can to learn the process and learn what I can to be prepared for that job. So it'll be interesting, and I'm excited to apply myself. And so I don't know that this first year out of the car is going to be that much more relaxed than really what I've been doing all year this season and over the last 20 years.
We'll go to Bob and then stay in the center.
Bob Hocker, CSPN. Yesterday, Chevrolet unveiled kind of a celebration of manufacturer identity in the sport. Day before, talking about composite bodies in the Xfinity Series. NASCAR says they'll still look the same as they have in the past, but is there a balance there between, manufacturer identity and kind of making everybody buy something from a vendor?
Say that again.
Well, what I'm asking is that you guys are all buying all your bodies in Xfinity from someone else, and yet you're also talking about, like, okay, we're racing these cars with manufacturer support, and hooray manufacturer. And I'm curious if there's is there a balance that needs to be made, or is there any I'm talking about the correlation between cars that all look the same or cars that all get worked on in one place versus manufacturer identity?
Well, all right. I really have a hard time kind of understanding what you're asking me, but when the cars are easy to identify, that's a great thing. If you look at the cars and struggle to sort of tell one from the other, it's not good. And, our company, our team, whether it's Xfinity or Cup, the manufacturer support we get, I mean, that affects our ability to compete. It affects it a lot. They help us in a lot of different areas outside of a check or just the being part of the brand. I mean, there's a lot of different things that they do for the teams. But I think that over the last couple of years that things have gotten better in terms of brand identity and recognizing one from another. And there for a while, all the cars did look the same, and they kind of were the same. The COT, I mean, you couldn't tell one from the other who was driving what. But it's gotten better, then NASCAR has to, control who, NASCAR has to have a level playing field as far as aero, but at the same time, you want the cars to look different. But when you really get too different from each other, the aero changes quite a bit. So you got to be careful. And also, they want all the cars to fit under a similar, similar inspection, with the grid and so forth. So there's some things in areas on the cars that will have to remain similar, but they're going in a good direction, I think, as far as allowing the cars to have a little brand identity on the front and different things on the side and so forth. So it's gotten better than it used to be. I mean, it's not 1970, but it's getting better.
We'll go here to the middle and then to Chris.
Dale, Jay Sarkar, CBS Lansing. Looking over some old clips, you've made a lot of memories here at MIS. You and your dad finishing 1-2 in the IROC way back when, winning in 2012. Regardless of how this weekend goes, what are your lasting memories of Michigan International Speedway and everything here in Brooklyn?
Obviously coming here and getting the win with Tony Jr., that was great. Winning here against, I raced Jeff Gordon one day in the Xfinity Series, I think it was 99. He was in his Pepsi car. And so I ran, we kind of swapped the lead all day. So it was only 100 laps or whatever, but we seemed like, we kind of were racing, only me and him were, racing each other for the win the whole race. So I was very proud of that because I thought he was the best in the sport at the time. So it was like, beating Jimmy Johnson if he came down to the Xfinity Series, or Kyle Busch. That was a big deal for us. Coming here to run one of my first Xfinity races in '97. We drove up here with a dually and a gooseneck and ran in the top 10. Couldn't believe it. Bumped Dale Jarrett out of the way off of turn 2 for 8th or something like that. Me and Dale Jarrett still talk about that today. And went in with Steve a couple years ago. So it's been just dominated that day in the Batman car. So I mean, I got some really, really good memories here. It's been a fun track, and man, I wish I miss the track being as wide as it used to be. How we could run multiple grooves, and sometimes even up against the wall at some of the events. It'll get there. It's still really nice, as far as the pavement and asphalt's not aging. It's definitely, the color has changed a little bit, but it's definitely not widening out as much as I'd hoped before I hung it up. But it's going to just get better and better and better. This place is great. This is sort of, to me, a lot of folks, there's been some conversation about the 1.5 miles and the word cookie cutter and all that. That's been a conversation for a couple decades now. But this place here is, to me, the standard for a 1.5 mile, 2 mile racetrack. This place is just so much fun to race on for a driver, and I think they did an amazing job when they built it. And it's a great racetrack.
We'll go to Chris and then come over here to the left.
ChristianCatchfence.com. Dale, I know this is an ongoing topic and whatnot, but based on what happened Tuesday and based upon the comments yesterday, your fans have been adamant that Harvick owes you an apology. And I just want to know from you, do you feel like that Kevin Harvick owes you an apology?
I don't know. I mean, I'd appreciate a conversation. You know, if we can have a conversation about it. I know Kevin and I've known him for a long time, and I feel like that it'd be great to sit down and just discuss what he said, what he meant, and we can even talk about my conversation from the Glen that he didn't like, and let's just sort of find some kind of common ground. That would be great because, like I said, I think a lot of the guy, and there's no denying what he did for our company over those few years. I mean, we were in a good place, but he put us to another level. When he came in there, his understanding of how to run a team, and he changed how everyone in the company thought. All the guys downstairs, as far as how to get cars better. And so he brought a really great mentality to the company that's still there today. And we've enjoyed we enjoyed a lot of wins together, and so I certainly would like to clear it up, but just probably between ourselves.
Come over here.
Yeah, Dale, Mike Brudenell from Auto Week. Firstly, thank you as an old guy here. It's been around MIS for your performances and availability to us here. Secondly, you said that you felt you exceeded a lot of your expectations as a driver. Can you explain, talk to that?
Yeah. I mean, I watched, I've watched a lot of guys come in behind their dads and struggle. There's a lot of guys that came in behind their dads and made it, but there's a lot of guys that didn't. And, my dad put up some pretty steep numbers, and so I knew that was going to be a challenge, trying to feel any kind of self-worth and be, doing well enough, to satisfy people, So, and I hated working for a living. I didn't want to work for a living. So I was hoping that, the way I thought, this is silly, but the way I thought in '97 was, man, if I could get into an Xfinity car and I could win just one race, what do I need to do just to keep, just to say, I think that's enough to keep me around. And so when I won my first few races in the Xfinity Series, I thought, well, all right, I'll be able to keep a job in this sport for a while because of this little bit of success I've had. I didn't come here to be the most popular guy. I didn't come in here thinking that I was going to win 7 championships. I just wanted to be able to do it. I didn't want to flame out in 2 years and be gone and have to work, honestly. So, I just wanted to be able to make a living doing it. It's turned out to be much, much more than that for me. And so every time I win a race, it's a surprise to me. And, anytime we did anything really big, like when the Xfinity Series championships or the Daytona 500s, it was just, even to this day, it's hard for me to believe that it happened to me. So that's what I mean when I exceeded my own expectations, because they were pretty low. I don't know why, but I was a screw off when I was a teenager. I wasn't. I was late to work every day, and I didn't put in the effort, and I just didn't have my head on straight. So I shouldn't have amounted to much, but and I wouldn't have if I hadn't got the opportunities that I got with my father, and luckily enough, I had great people around me on that Xfinity deal that carried any of my own personal limitations, and until I finally figured it out late in my career what I really was supposed to be doing this whole time, as far as my job and being an asset and being accountable and applying yourself. And it took a while, but that's some of us are late bloomers. I certainly I didn't think I'd win another race after 2010, 2011. I thought that was it. I thought I was gonna squirm around in the back till everybody just had enough of me. But somehow or another, we got back to victory lane a few more times, so that was pretty cool.
We'll stay down here on the left and then go back to the middle.
Taylor DeSormo from MLive.com. Somebody mentioned the 99 IROC race. What are your memories from that day with the close finish with your dad?
Oh, man. I've watched that a lot. There's a YouTube clip of about the last 5 laps. And I watch it all, just thinking, man, how in the hell did I lose? But so there's a lot that happened that day. Me and Dad run nose to nose, first and second, that whole race. He's motioning to me the whole time to stay right with him, stay in line, not try to pass him. You could pull out and get beside the guy in front of you pretty easily, but it was hard to pass on the bottom. And so he was just like, don't pull out, don't pull out. And I got all these guys dogging me and trying to pass. And so on the last lap, I got a run, and I went down into turn 1, got under him, and it didn't work, and I thought I was screwed. Somebody got him behind me and pushed me down the back straightaway real good, and we went into turn 3, and Dad drove to the bottom. So I just went around a little bit higher, and it stuck, and I got out on his outside coming off of turn 4, and I was going by, and he hit me. He drove, he was trying to side draft me, but he also hit me. And that momentum that I had going forward just stopped. And his side draft started to work. He started kind of creeping forward. And then Rusty was behind us. And Rusty went behind Dad for a second, which pushed Dad a little farther. And then right at the last second, Rusty went low. But that was all he needed to get back by me. And it's 50 lap, I think it's 50 laps, 20 laps. What was it? 50 miles, 20 laps or something? I don't remember what. It was very short. I got out of that car and had never been more tired in my life. I got out and went to Victory Lane and then just about passed out. I went to the infield care center and got 2 bags of IV. Never felt worse after a race for whatever reason. I must have held my breath the whole time or something. I don't know what it was, but I was miserable after I come down from the adrenaline that was pumping, and I went in there to Victory Lane, like hoping that Dad would, Tony Sr. and all the guys are in the Xfinity garage, and when I saw them, Tony Sr. and they were like, man, you about had him, that was so awesome. And I wanted Dad to say that, and I went in Victory Lane, and he would not even acknowledge that I almost beat him. He was like, yeah, look at me, my trophy. How about that? How about that, Dale Jr.? And I was like, all right. So, and on top of that, I've always sort of been ticked at Rusty for that whole thing, because him and Dad, they kind of always were one-upping each other. One buy a plane, the other had to have the same plane. This guy buys a farm, this guy's got to buy a farm. And they did that their whole career, throwing water bottles back and forth, and then they'd be pals, and then they'd be fighting. And he had his one shot to really rub it in Dad's face and push me to Victory Lane. He could have, hung that over Dad's head for so long, and he kind of helped Dad, to be honest with you, with the way the arrow works. I was so mad he didn't push me, but if he had, I'd have won. I didn't eat much, but that to me, I mean, I didn't. It was funny because I got to race Dad in the IROC Series a little bit, and then I got to race him in the Cup Series some, but really we didn't race around each other at all. I don't have many memories of racing with him much on the racetrack. I remember passing him for the win at Richmond. I remember passing him for position late in the race for the All-Star win, but really there's not a lot of us racing together, and that we ran together that whole day. That was fun, and to battle him once was pretty awesome.
We'll stay here in the middle, and then we'll go back to Jay.
Mike Massey with FrontStretch.com. So you've kind of turned into the driver developer as of late with Truex, Almirola, Keselowski, and now Bowman and Byron. First off, how does that make you feel to just look and see so many guys that made it to Cup that came through your teams?
Yeah.
And then what is it you look for when you're talking to like a 14, 15-year-old kid about letting them drive your late model?
Yeah, I can't take any credit for any of that. Honestly, a lot of those guys that have came through junior motorsports I was tipped off by somebody. As far as Martin Truex Jr., it was Richie Gilmore, I believe, that told me about him. But it's been, somebody gets in your ear and says, this is the guy here, somebody you need to look at. And because of our popularity and our ability to attract a lot of corporate sponsorship, we were allowed to, create junior motorsports and give these guys opportunities in late models and Xfinity teams and stuff like that. That's why we have this whole Junior Nation appreciation. I mean, the fans support us. Corporate America wants to be a part of that. That presents opportunities for us to do things that gives opportunities to others. So I can't take really any credit for actually like being this this eagle eye, like, oh yeah, there's this guy over here, or just watch him. I can tell you there's a lot of that Tyler Najeski, what's his name? Yeah, Najeski. I'd love to put him in a car. I've been kind of watching him. I've never seen him drive, but I know he wins every damn time he gets out on the track. He's just sitting on Twitter today complaining about a 4-race losing streak. Yeah, Ty. Yeah, I'm assuming his name's Tyler, right? Ty. Huh? Ty. You don't think his real name's Tyler? Tyrone. Well, yeah, of course. I don't think that I can take credit for seeing those guys. They get sort of brought to you, or somebody points them out. It's just circumstances. So, but I love having the opportunity to help people. And Junior Motorsports has been able to do that. If we get lined up with the right people in the right situation, I think our program is able to help a lot of people.
And we'll wrap up here with Jay before we have a special presentation.
Dale, we heard from Kirk Cousins and Ryan Kerrigan about your guys' little run out in Richmond on Tuesday, but I wanted to hear your perspective from it. What was it like getting to go with, the quarterback and some of the best players of your favorite football team?
Dream come true for a fan, like, any fan, like myself, to go out and, just kind of throw the football around a little bit. I thought they were just going to throw one pass and be like, all right, see you, we're out of here. But he was like, no, come on, let's do it some more. Let's do it. So I think we had 3 passes. So it was a lot of fun. And they were really, I know that, so they're in the middle of their training camp. For them to come over to the track, like just a few hours before they actually have to get in pads and get going, I know that they could have easily turned that down and had good reason to. So I thought that was really cool of those guys to come out there and give their time to. I know they were excited about being able to go around the track and all that, but I thought still it was nice of them to come over there and get involved in all that and help us kind of do what we're trying to accomplish for the racetrack. I thought that was probably the most fun winter circle that I've ever done. I don't think we can call them winter circles anymore, like a victory tour or something. I don't know what they call them anymore, but forever they were winter circle. It was a winter circle program. So I told the track, Richmond, if they didn't mind having a retired driver, I'd do it again next year. So anything to go back to Redskins training camp. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that, and they had a terrible game last night. The preseason game was awful, but you don't care. You're a fan, and just to be around those guys was incredible. I was really in awe. To watch them sort of after practice, work with the kids around there and handing out snow cones and all that stuff. It's really a great experience. So enjoyed that. There's a lot. They talk about. And sorry, I'm kind of getting long, but here, when they talk about drafting guys with character, You don't really know what that means till you get around these guys on those teams, and you really see what kind of quality people these guys are. I mean, they're great at football, but they're also really, really quality individuals, so that's real neat to see. How did I do? Well, I caught the first two. The third one was a little overthrown, but I think that was my fault for being slow, not Kurt's fault for overthrowing me. But it was so much fun. Me and Norman, while we're running, before Kurt's even throwing the ball, we're giggling as we're jogging down the field, just laughing. It's so funny.
All right, Dale, before we let you go to qualifying, we're going to bring up Rick Brenner, the track president here at Michigan International Speedway, for a special presentation.
Thank you. I guess those of us that are Lions fans won't hold the Redskins thing against you too long. So on behalf of Michigan National Speedway, all of our fans, we just want to say thank you for all you've done for our sport, for all you've done here in Michigan, and wish you the best of luck. We do believe you're not leaving, you're just changing your role, so we look forward to seeing you back. We were trying to think of something that would be meaningful of Michigan and maybe meaningful to you too. Brad did a little research, found out that this was the only track that you, your father, and your brother all ran in the Cup, and we found this picture to commemorate it, and we'd like to give it to you. So thank you.
Gentlemen, right here. Perfect.
That's 17 years ago.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, man.
No problem. Take care.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys.